The ProArt series from the manufacturer ASUS. It is the one dedicated exclusively to professional creators with a wide range of features that promote good functionality and fluidity to guarantee an excellent workflow. These motherboards are designed exclusively for this, which is their strength, as we will see in its technical characteristics. I highlight on this occasion, I will take as reference the latest AMD boards, those that use the 600 series chipset, and later we will also talk about those that use the Intel 700 series chipset. It is true that with rugged series boards we have a lot to do. Configure an excellent workstation. Even within the Prime also the taught you find plates to mount your workstation, but choosing a plate from one series or another for this purpose will depend on the type and amount of work being done, for example creating content from this channel as you are seeing it now, and playing video games with Ryzen 5 or an i5 is more than enough, but doing 3D modeling already at a professional level for engineering or architecture, video rendering and effects in 4K, 6K and 8K with use of effects such as ray tracing, also doing photogrammetry, for example, where the processing of calculations is brutal. You have to think about a PC with special features where its motherboard is very capable and versatile with the best data transfer bus and is up to date. Height of the top components that will be placed in it, and this more so if you work for a company or individually, and the workload on the PC is constant because the delivery of the projects has to be in record time, where the time it's money. This is where ASUS's ProArt comes in, designed for this type of creator in particular. So let's look at parts of its features. As we can see, the ProArt series from AMD only has two versions of motherboards, the ProArt X670E Creator Wi-Fi and the ProArt B650 Creator. The X670E has a VRM of 18 total phases configured in 16+2. They are phases working in pairs, so the real configuration is 8 by 2+2 phases. These use 70 amp monolithic power MOSFETs. The MP86992 are specialized to work in server machines, which is very consistent with the type of use for which this motherboard is oriented. Also in its PC Express ports it has 3 of these with a form factor of 16. The first of them reinforced with metal is 5.0 and at the contact level it is 16. The second of them also comes reinforced with metal is 5.0, but at the contact level it is by 8, and the third that is not reinforced is 4.0 and at the contact level it works by 2. We can see the first 2 are reinforced. They are at an ideal distance since they are designed for the possibility of multi-GPU. It also has 4 M.2 ports. 2 of these are 5.0 and the others are 4.0. But they all have their respective heatsinks, and on the back panel we can see that it includes its BIOS flash button, and in the video section it brings us an HDMI and a port-in display. This works with 2 USB 4 Type-C ports that this motherboard includes. It also brings us another Type-C but 3.2 generation 2x2. It also includes 7 Type-A of this same generation. We also see a 2.0 Type-A oriented to the BIOS flash button. And something quite important in the next point that will be useful for many workstations is that this board includes 2 Ethernet ports, one of 10 GB and the other of 2.5 GB. But be careful since you must have both a capable router and internet service to take advantage of these sections, because if not, you will only be wasting money paying for capabilities that you will not take advantage of. This is one of the reasons why the ProArt series is not for everyone. We can also see that in the wireless network section this board is at the forefront since it uses Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2. In the audio section, this board has a pretty good codec, the Realtek S1228, but in terms of its outputs it is only stereo, and its younger sister, the B650 Creator, is a little more modest and trimmed, having a VRM of 14 total phases and a 12 plus 2 phase configuration, also working in pairs with the power connectors being 4 plus 8 pins. 4 pins less than the X670E. Although they leave the 6-pin one for the expansion section because, as we see in this section, the 3 PSI express ports continue to be maintained at 16, in this case the first being at the contact level at 16, the second at 8. These in turn are the oriented towards a possible multi-GPU configuration, also including metal reinforcements, both on this occasion being 4.0 and the third is for 4 being 4.0 as well. And one with 1X form factor is also included. The M.2 are 3, only the first being 5.0, the other 2 being 4.0. Only 2 of the 3 have heatsinks, and this little M.2 for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth expansion cards, which you have to get separately since it doesn't come from the factory like the X670E. 2 Ethernet ports are also included on the back panel, but unlike the X670E, a 10 GB port is not included. They are 2.5-bit and 1-bit. The USB ports are also reduced to only 3 Type A 3.2 Generation 2 and 2 Type C of the same generation, one of the latter 2 having an alternative mode for DisplayPort since, like the X670E, it brings us an HDMI and a DisplayPort, and also in the audio section this is different since it includes outputs for 5.1 and 7.1 channels with its PDIF optical output, which the X670E does not include. It should be noted that this series is not limited to motherboards, but we find laptops, desktop PCs, monitors of different types aimed at creators, projectors, mice and mousepads, so we can form a totally pro-art work environment. So if you are a creator of high demand and demand in the professional field, then you should consider the ASUS ProArt series.